So fine. Once again, very good morning to all. So in our last session, in my previous session, that is yesterday, we have discussed regarding the directives, page directives of your what I can say JSP. Before going page directives, I have discussed something about your script tags. As I can say the tags which we are using, what type of tags and how many types of tags we had. So I think we had 3 types of tags. Hope you can remember. I think I have shown you with an example also the tags, right? So the tags can be 3 types. One is a scriptlet tag, and other one is expression tag, and one more is what? Declaration tag. So these 3 tags where we are using for different purpose, right? So just you go through once again just what we had in my last session so that I can continue from the thing, right? So this is what I think we have done. So there are 3 types of scripting elements we had. That is the tags we are using. They are predefined tags. They're not any customized tags. One is a script-led tag, another one is expression tag, and one more is declaration tag. And we have seen syntax and what is the purpose of one tag, scriptlet tag. So when you want to insert any Java code, so that time you need to use a scriptlet tag. That syntax you have done. I think I go on through example also, right? And second one is expression tag, where the expression tag is used to when a user responding or user is giving some output or a use with the help of your response object. So at that time, a code to be placed within your expression, and that JSP expression tag we are using with the help of the below syntax, what you can find it with some modification we need to put as is equivalent to before your the statement which you are giving. So for that also we have taken an example, right? The third one is a declaration tag. So the main purpose of your declaration tag is used to declare the fields or methods, and methods we can call, or both we can do it, right? So we need to have is declaration tag is used to declare the fields as well as methods. And here the syntax was once again a small modification. Instead of is equal to, that to be replaced with exclamatory mark, and there we are using whatever the declaration you want, the declaration we can use, so that we are using field or method declaration. And we gone through an example also. We declared one field here, a data field, with assigning some value as a 50, and that we are displaying as an output using your expression tag, and that also we have done in my previous session. Then later we have gone through some directives. So what is the purpose of directive here? So they are JSP directives are mainly used, or it gives us some information or a message to your JSP container that how to translate a JSP page into the corresponding servlet. Because as when we are discussing an architecture of your JSP, there we just clearly say that we are going to be converting your .jsp into .java file. Who is going to done that thing? JSP translator will do it, right? So when this translation is going to take in place, how this translation or how to translate it, on what requirement, how to translate the thing, you need to get back a message from your JSP directives with the help of some different attributes actually. So if I want to go with the importing attribute, then I can do something. If I am having any error, I need to give. So like this, some message you are giving, right? These messages can be passed using this what? Directives. And basically we can divide our directives into 3 categories. One is called the basic, or I can say page directives. And second one is called include directive. Third one is called tag library or tag lib directives. And either it may be any type of directive, the syntax is common. So what is the syntax you are using? instead of is equivalent to, instead of exclamatory mark, here we need to use at the rate. So at the rate represents a directive. So at the rate directive. So what type of directive you are using? If it is a page, then we need to replace it with page. If you are using include, then it couldn't be done with include. Like this, the directive name we need to mention. Then what is the attribute you are using for that particular directive? So I said already, it is used to inform your container how to translate JSP into corresponding servlet. So you want to inform that I want to convert into so and so format. You need to pass that in the form of attribute. So that attribute, and that attribute can be passed some value. So that is a syntax which we are using to make any directives. It may be a page, it may be include, or it may be tag directives. And once again, under these tag directives, under your page directives, we had so many attributes. That is 10 attributes we had. So these 10 attributes defines which can be applied to your entire JSP page. So these are attributes. So we previously have given a syntax to you, right? So at the rate directive attribute is equal to value. Attribute can be import, attribute can be content type, or attribute can be any among these 10. So that value you need to pass. Sometimes the value can be true or false, or sometimes the value can be you are going to take redirecting into one more URL. So like this, there are some thing we are having. So that value you need to pass. But how to use this attribute? As one by one. One by one, we'll go through that. I think I covered some 2 to 3 attributes here. But once again, we'll come across. The first attribute is what? Import. The name itself is saying importing. Importing is used to make the use of, or to make the use of the classes, or make the use of some interfaces, or make the use of packages, whatever is required at that particular moment to compile or to execute your JSP file without any errors. So we need to import some packages, or some import from classes, or importing some interfaces. Whatever you want to import, that I can suggest using this JSP directives. But how we are using it, same like your as I mentioned already, it's same like your keyword in Java. Import keyword you are using importing some class or importing some interface. That time you are using a keyword imports. So same thing here you are using in JSP it as import. But how you are going to use the syntax is, just look at here. As you go for with example, at the rate page, our attribute directive name is what? Page. And what is our attribute here? Import. And you are using some java.utility.date. So it can be a class, I told, it can be an interface, or it can be a package. So here I am using this java utility.date. So once again, when I am using this thing, automatically that will take the utility date of your particular currently whatever you are accessing the system, that page, date, and etc. it can be printed, and that we need to print as an output, right? So at that time I need to use what tag? Expression tag. There I'm using an expression tag as today is equivalent to what? The date, new date, whatever the date is updated, that date will be printed. So I think I shown this example also in my previous session, right? Next, coming to content type. So what is a content type is, whenever you are passing a content, so there are different type of contents we can pass, maybe a general text content, or maybe a HTML content, or maybe XML content, maybe it's the content which is going to be used in your programming. So that content I can pass. But if I want to make the content pass, or content, what type of content I'm using, if we want to show it, that can be done with the help of your attribute called content type. But defaultly the content, when you take any program as of now, when you take your content type, this is taking defaultly as a text / HTML. It's nothing but it can take text or HTML, but don't think that it is only restricted to. We can do other than that also, but defaultly I'm saying it's a text or HTML. And how to use the syntax? So it is using same as your @ which represents what? It is my directive. And what type of directive? Page directive. And what is my attribute name? Content type is equivalent to the content value can be, it can be either text or it can be a HTML. So like this I can use and I can get content back. This is my second attribute. Now third is buffer. So where the buffer point actually comes is whenever you are creating an object for your response object, that is your output object which you are giving to your client. So, at that time, the response object, when you are creating that response object, is required to set some size for its storage purpose, where all this is going to store at one memory. We call it as a buffer, like temporary memory, right? Because it is when it is utilized, buffer will be there. When it is destroyed, buffer will not be allocated to that one. Like automatic arrays can be done by using your JVM. So to make this size or to set your buffer size the buffer size actually is used to allocate the size for your objects, I said, right? When you want to allocate this size to your buffer, defaultly if you don't mention it, the allocation can be done as 8 KB. But when your objects are more, it is not consisting one object, it consisting some 10 to 12 objects, example you assume, or maybe 5 to 6 objects I had. But these 5 to 6 objects cannot be stored or with a space of 8 KB. Then you want to make your size of your buffer to be handled or to be increased. So that purpose we are using a buffer attribute with inside your page directive. And here you can see this syntax also, page buffer is equivalent to 16 KB you are allocating. So you are doubling the size of the buffer which you had. Then you are going to print with your expression tag, what is the date and etc. Like this we can do for your third attribute. And this is my example, which is a combination of two things. One is what? How we are going to import and how we are making a buffer allocation. Two examples. So it shows two type of your attributes of your import, and content type also you can find here. I told already three things what we discussed. As a common example we have done, content type is equivalent to text oblique HTML. So the second is page buffer 16 KB, and page import, we are importing the things which we had, either it may be a class or it may be an interface or it may be a package. So three combinedly we make as an example. Up to this I think we have seen in previous session. Okay, this also we have done, but I made it fast. Once again I will come back with this. Is thread safe? How you can say how is thread safe is used? So let me know first explain. This thread safe mechanism actually supports or the threading thing, whatever I am saying is done in your JSP as well as in your servlet. Both is allowed, because when you are studying your architecture of your servlet, there you are making every request which is coming from your client will make as a threads. Then whatever the thread or the request the thread is accessing, that can go to your servlet and try to access it. So what is the thing is, it can accept more than one thread. Multi-threaded is also allowed in your JSP and your servlet. What do you mean by multi-threading? More than one request we may come to access your client request. So if you want to control the behavior of either only JSP, I'm saying, as we are discussing about the JSP, as you want to control this behavior of JSP, then we need to use your attribute called isThreadSafe. But what happens if I don't use it? Don't worry, it will take as a true. So the default value of isThreadSafe is true. But if you make it as a false, what happens is, suppose if you are having multiple requests from your clients, if you are having multiple requests from your clients, then what happens? one request to be completed first, then only it can handle another request. When it happens, when you make it as a false, you want to make your request to be in a proper way, and you want to take your request to be taking so much long time, so that time you can make it as a false, so that it can handle one request at a time, not more than one. First request one to be completed, then only it should go to the next. Until that, it should wait. That is only I am saying. It is going to make serialize the multiple request. It is going to make what? Serialize the multiple requests. So it will wait until the JSP finishes responding to a request before passing another request to it. So before passing to another request, or before moving to handle another request, first we need to complete it. When it is possible, when you make your is thread safe is equivalent to false. But if you make as a default value, what do you mean by default value? Is thread safe is equivalent to true. At the time, what happens? Simultaneously, we can do our tasks. There is no condition that first number one to be completed, then only I will move to number two, not like that. It parallelly he can handle. Here it is serialized, here it is parallel. Parallelly can handle how many number of requests it can be handled. When you make, or you don't require to make, automatically it will make as a default only. So if you want to make changes, then you can do it, the changes with this one. That is your is thread safe is your next attribute. Next, coming into my info. So what is this info? Means whenever you want to set the information, whenever you want to set the information of JSP page, you want to clearly say the information to your JSP page. As we know that every JSP page is automatically transferred into Servlet. You know that JSP translator we are using. Yeah, what I'm just making, as we are converting our JSP page is automatically translated to its equivalent Servlet. Then you are making some information about current JSP page. Then you are giving some information about current JSP page information. You want to make it that this JSP page is made by me, or this page is done by me. Like this, some information you want to make yourself, that identifying that I just make it. This page is done by me, or this application or this project is done by me. You want to give some recognition to your application or to your project, and that time we can use this attribute by setting the information to your JSP page. But whatever the information you set, you want to know it, or you want to know that this page message can be retrieved, and this message, what is the message you kept for that particular page, you want to get it back, then that is possible by using one method. What is that method? Is called get servlet info method, which will give that this whatever the information you set for that page, we can easily get it by that method. So just I will try to show this example, how we are going to make, and what is the information you are making, and how you are retrieving in your using method your get servlet page. We will see with an example now. Just wait a second. So what happens here? First, I am making some page info. So I made it here. I'm giving that this is a JSP page which is made by me, composed by so and so person, myself, and I'm making what day I made it here. I'm making utility here. Once again, using your expression tag, I clearly the thing is I'm printing. Then whatever the information I have kept here, I want to know the information. Then I'm using my once again my expression tag. I should know what is the information is containing by my servlet, because everything is placed or everything is converted from JSP to servlet. You know it. So that information you want to know it. So get servlet info method, if you call, automatically the information can be displayed. So how it works, we'll see with an example now. Just give me a second. So I'm going to open my IDE, NetBeans IDE, yes. So in this you want to place the code which I just given an example to you. So same code we'll try to make it. So this is a code which we are making. So better we'll copy from here, because as a, to know your information also we need to copy paste. So yes, my ID is open and only one app I had. We'll try to change this app only, no problem. Don't require to go any other app. So we had some first JSP we had it, right? So I'm going to copy all this information in this one. Just look at. So I copied. So what the thing I made it with the help of my attribute page info I kept. And whatever the info I kept, just you want to know it, what the information you made it. So along with that, you are going to print the date, current date and the time and etc. You are going to print, and how you are going to get that, we are going to get by using this method. What is that method? Get servlet info method. So when you try to run this file, so make a run of this. Just look at here. So what is the message you are going to get? So first time it is making the execution, so it takes some time. Yeah, now it's open. So I got a message. Yeah, Ahmad, any doubts? Screen. Oh, okay. Just I forgot to share. Yeah, just wait a second. I forgot. Yes. Hope now it is visible to you. So look at here. So this is my first .jsp which I created yesterday for you. 26th on 26th I created, right? So what I just making, I'm giving some page info here. So what is the info? This page is composed by myself, from where I'm, whatever the content you want to make it, that info I'm placing in this one. And along with that, I want to make some output as expression tag. With the help of an expression tag, I want to print what is the current system date and time. And as per my AST standard, I'm going to take this one as expression tag. Then whatever I composed or whatever the information I passed here, I want to know it. That I told already. If you want to know that information, you can get back that information using your method name called getServletInfo. Why we are using getServletInfo? The reason I told already. Your .jsp will be converted into .java, which is once again a servlet. So from that you are getting the information. So as this per point of view, we are using an expression tag with a method name called getServletInfo. So when you try to make your run this program, so it should give the message composed by so and so and date and etc. It should give an output. So just we look at here. Yes. So this is today is. So we got it, and composed by the message, because I'm getting servlet info information. So like this, the information you can get by using this, what? The info attribute. We're going to get the information from info attribute. This is your next attribute. Next, coming to error page. So what is that error page attribute is used? So it defines the error page. So suppose when you are going to make your creation of any JSP page, sometimes your code goes wrong, or sometimes your syntactically maybe tag may be closed or tag may not be closed. Some small errors we are going to occur. What you call an exceptions, right? When this type of exception is occurring in that current page, then that current page will be redirected, or that page will be redirected to that error page which you are using, right? So you are creating here two pages like index.jsp and myerrorpage.jsp. Two pages you are creating. So in the first page, that is your index.jsp. In this example, I am saying in your index.jsp, you have done some mistake. But when you had an exception has been handled or an exception has been raised, then immediately it goes to the page called myerrorpage.jsp. It should redirect. So what happens when exception is occurring in your evaluation of your .jsp file? When you want to move to another page which shows your error, my error page. That's why I saved it as a my error page. That time we are going to make as your attribute error page. So error page is equal to value. What is the value you are passing? If any exception is occurs, I need to move to my error page.jsp so that I can solve the errors where we had. And 1 second we can try and come back and we can execute it so that we can get the answer from this. Right? So to know or what is my error, that is a different issue. So to redirect to your error page, which is you are separately using, so that the redirection is can be possible with your error page attribute. Next, coming into next attribute is error page. So is error page and previously what error page, there is a one small difference. So what is that? The is error page attribute is used to declare that the current page is the error page. So previously what I'm doing, if any error is occurs, then I'm moving into some page which occurs, a redirection is going on with some .jsp, then I can solve there, then I can come back. I told like that, right? Is error page is an attribute to declare that current page is the error page. Which page you are handling is your error page. So to make that, how the syntax can we need to use here? We need to use same. First, there will be no change. Attribute at the rate, then followed by your page directive name. And what is the attribute you are using? Is error page is equivalent to true. So defaultly it will be what? False. But if you make it as a true, then what do you mean by if it has make it as a true? You are saying that an exception has been occurred. You are clearly saying that an exception has been occurred. So that information you are going to pass. So how you are going to pass that information? Is equivalent to false. When you take this is equivalent to false, sometimes you are going to give a message. What is the message here? Sorry, an exception is occurred. An exception is occurred, and that exception which we are going to make it as exception, whatever the exception you had it, that exception can be stored. So just we'll try to make this once again, copy paste. We'll try to find out is there any problem or how this can be occurs, how we are handling this one. We'll try to make the replacement of this code and try to run this file once again. So what happened, just we'll try to find out. So we are giving a message, sorry, an exception is occurred, exception is null. So we don't have any exception, but exception is occurred. We are showing yes, because we are not using any type of exception problem here, but we need to pass some information that current page is exception is occurred. So suppose instead of true, if you make it as a false, we'll see what happens. We'll make as a false. I make it false, and I can make it run. So it is giving some error. What is that? So it is not going any redirection because it is showing that a out.print exception. So we are not having any error over here because defaultly it can be done. There will be no exception. So error can be shown here. Build is failed because the following occur, compile failed. See the compile error. Compile error we are getting. Why? Because default it will be false. So there is no exception we are having. You want to show some exception, then we need to use it as a true. Then it shows some exception. So if you put an exception, automatically that exception can be shown. So default value of is error page can be what? The default page will be, no, you can just check it out. So like this, if you want to make clearly there is a chance of an exception, you want to know that exception, then you can make it as a true so that exception can be caught and that can be shown using your is error page. And next, coming into next attribute is el ignored. I told already when we want to or when we are using your JSP, not only using an extension of your servlet, there we can use some predefined tags, there we can use some customized tags, there we can use some expression language, there we can use some user defined libraries which we call with the extension of TDL. All these things we can use. But whenever you don't want to use your expression language, what it is we'll see later, don't worry, right? So when you want to use an expression language, you want to ignore, because defaultly it will be false. So when you make as a false, automatically EL language is enabled. But even you don't want to use any expression language in your JSP file, then you need to use your attribute as what? Page is EL ignored is equivalent to true you want to make. Whenever you are making as a true, then automatically what happens here? Your expression language can make as null. So it cannot be able to use your this expression in your program. So just we'll find out either it is allowing or not. We'll just make the replace of this one, right? So with this directive, so I'm making this directive here. Each page is EL is ignored to. So just find out, is there any difference? I don't know. I'm just checking here. So it is also giving error. Just look at here. The following error is occurred, compile error. So we can't able to make it. So we don't require to make it as a true. So remove it as false if you made it. Sorry. So if you make instead of true as a default statement, we will make false. And we try to run this one. So make a run of this one. So here also some problem. So compile failed because output details while leaking. So here page redirect expression EL. So EL language we are not using. So maybe that is the reason. Maybe some type of a compiler error we are going to be faced. So we don't require to make that one, right? So by default, if you don't want to allow your EL language, then you want to ignore it, then you make it as a true. Then if you don't ignore, automatically EL language can be enabled as a default. That is your EL ignored. Next coming as the language attribute. So we can use a different language and different languages, right, which specifies our scripting language. But defaultly we'll prefer .java only, you know that, because as you are writing your JSP, we maximum take your .java, because your compiler, or I can say JSP translator, will convert your what I can say the .jsp into .java. So that conversion is going to be done. But if you use other than Java, what happens? Your compiler should change, then your translator should be changed, because it should convert your .jsp to maybe CPP, or maybe .c, or maybe your py, anything it can be converted. But defaultly the language we are using as a Java, right? So we are not using all these things, but we should know about what is the purpose of it. So the language attribute specifies the scripting language used in the JSP. Maximum what language we will use in the JSP? Java only. But if you want to change it, you can make it as a false, but you can't use a Java. Your compiler cannot be supports and everything goes wrong. So maximum we need to use Java only. And the last, I think so, extends. So we hear this extend word somewhere. So extension, if you take your any Java programming, public service method name extend so and so. What is the extension? Is nothing but, so this extend defines the parent class that will be inherited by the generated servlet. So whatever the servlet you are using, that servlet is extending some other class, and what class? That is known as a parent class. And what is this class? Is known as child class. So child class want to know, or child class want to access the properties of your parent. Then what you are going to use? You are going to use an access specifier, or I can say keyword. I'm saying it is a keyword. We call it as an extender. That keyword we can use, and we can extend the things, but rarely we don't use it, right? But whenever you are using maximum, this is concept you are using in servlet. If you find in servlet, this extend concept you can find in JSP, not that much, because there is no required to go for any extension here. Already defaultly this is an extension of servlet, so we don't use. But you should understand what is the purpose of your extend. So these are the total 10 attributes under your page directive, right? Any doubts in this 10 attributes which we are using under your page directive, you are having any doubts in this one? Don't have, I can go for second directive. After page directive, you had a JSP directive, I think so. Hope you had no problems with first page directive of your 10 attributes. Right, we are going with second. We are going with what? Second directive. And what is that second directive? JSP include directive. So what is this purpose of JSP include directives? Suppose when I want to include some contents, or maybe that contents may be what? Maybe it can be a JSP file, or maybe your HTML file, or maybe your text file. So when you want to make the contents to be included, either it can be any resource, then I need to use this directive. So I had 4 to 5 JSP pages with me. Example you take, or 3 JSP and 2 HTML I had. So what I want to do, just when I go for execution of my first JSP, it should redirect to your, it should include this another file. Another file, maybe another JSP should be redirected. Then another redirected should be redirected. Then another .html to be redirected. So like this, we are making all these things, which will make easier to, right, to understand how the pages are moving from one to another. And that purpose, we are using the syntax as, instead of page, now I am coming with one more directive name. What is the directive name? Include. So I need to use include. And what is that file you are including? That file name you want to make it as here. So file is equivalent to, file is what? Attribute, you can think it of, and value of the file or the name of the file. Here we need to mention. Then if you mention and then you try to execute it, so automatically it moves to what? The file which you are asking for redirection. But redirection can be done in the what manner? In the include manner. Don't forget about the difference between forward and include, because as the point comes, I will tell you. And coming to your include directives, how we are using, just have a look at the syntax, or I can say an example. So I am including file. So I had already a file action.jsp and I had index.html. So first I am going to take my index.html. I am including a file called this file to be redirected into so and so. So I'm including in what? In the JSP file. So similarly, we'll try to include here also in our syntax. So we'll see either redirection is going on or not. So copy paste. So we are redirecting index.html. So making a paste of it and change here your index, right? It is index.html only. So file name is same as your previous. Now try to run it. So it shows your index dot, you are forwarded, you are giving a message. So in your index.html, you are included, just you are giving a message that you are included a page. And now you make this page as run, it goes to include your index.html and it give a message that you are included a page. So this is what the JSP include directive, right? The next, third and final directive is JSP tag library directive. What is the third one? JSP tag library directive. So it is one more additional thing I can say in my JSP. So in previously what you'll just thought of it, using your tags or using your libraries as of your own. But sorry, previously as you are using your directives and your defined tags are predefined. But now you want to make, right? You want to make your tags as your own. We call it a custom tags. So the directives which we help us to make your custom tag is tag lib directive. The directive which allows user to make use of your custom tag, that directory is known as what? Tag lib directive. And these custom tags, those are created by the user is an example you have done, syntax. So tag live is my directive name and URI. What is the URI stands for? It is a location of your tag direction library file, and we are saving that library file with the name called .tld library directive. So it is a tag library directive with extension we are sharing, and then after that the prefix, whatever the prefix we are using, it is a unique name. It is also a unique name for the choice of the which user is referred to use custom tags. So whenever you want to make the custom tags useful at the time, if you take this as a prefix, automatically what happens, it can be shows your tag lab directive that okay, it is happened, it is a thing which I want to make it clear, so I need to compulsory go my custom tag. So to define your own tags or to use your own tags as in your JSP, we are using a tag called as what, a tag lag directory, or I can say tag library directives. So the main purpose, as I told already, to allow the user to create your own or customized tags. So these are third JSP tag library. And once again, one more thing we had is JSP action tag. So is the additional, I think so, JSP action tag. Previously we have done with 3 directives. Now it is a tag. So what is the purpose of tag? Each tag is having its own responsibility. Here we know something about 2 tags. 3 tags we know something. So as we studied in your servlet also, when I'm studying the cookies method, we can have a clarity about this your Java, or I can say the tags of your JSP. So how we are going to make it is, so these action tags, whatever the action tags we are using, to control the flow between the pages. So when you want to make redirect from one page to another page or another page to another page, so you want to make some flow, control flow between the pages. Maybe that page may be HTML page, or maybe that page may be a JSP page. Any page it can be. So you want to make a flow between the pages, and to use Java Bean, that also included not only redirection of your web pages, and also you need to use your Java Bean on these JSP tags, the below JSP tags, which are helpful for us to make your action tags succeed. So what are the things we had? Coming to first, number 1, include. Just now we have studied this one, JSP forward, JSP include, servlet include, servlet forward. So what is the difference I made it for servlet include and servlet forward? Because as this one we studied in your servlets, here I'm saying about JSP. What about the first tag, that is your JSP forwards? So what purpose JSP forwards we are using? Yes, anyone just case say that there is a small difference between your request and forward. Forward and include. Yes, it forwards the response of the servlet to another servlet. Yes, it forwards the response of the servlet as well as, you can find here, along with this response, it forwards can be done what? Forwards the request and response to another resource. Resource may be another JSP file. So both request as well as response, both can be done by your forward method. And what about the include method? It includes another resource. It's not you taking any request and response here. It includes another resource. Then if it includes another resource, we call it as action tag JSP include. If your request and response, right, if you are forwarding to another resource, then we call it as action tag JSP forward. So hope you are clear the difference between your forward and include. Any doubts in this one? Yeah, Arfat also. So it will forward the response to another resource and include another resource based on, right, fine, you are right. The same thing I'm saying. So that is the thing happens with your 2 things. Next, Next, coming into next action, use bean. Your action tag is what? Use bean. So what is the use bean is? Actually, what the bean is, it is also be a type of the thing we can use to create your what? A class. To create your class or to create or locates your, once your class is created, what you need to do? You need to create an object for it, right? So to make that object usage or to create that object or to know where is my object, then I'm going to use my third action tag, JSP use bean. So it creates or locates. If it is not there, it find out, or if it is there, it's locating. And then it creates or locates the bean object. For that purpose, we are using this object. Then you want to set some properties to your bean object, or you want to set the value for your property, or you want to set the value for your bean object. Then that can be done with your action tag called set property. The same thing. If you want to get back, the what value which you assigned to that particular bean, you want to know from your side. So that purpose we are using a action tag called get property. There I'm calling methods, here I'm calling action tags, because JSP is a purely tag based approach. Set property, get property, there we are using methods, and here I'm calling is a action tags. So purpose is same. There also I'm setting the value for your bean project, or it may be any type of project, and this one is saying about what? Getting the information or a value of your the which you are allocating to your bean, you want to know it, then you can know with this element, right? So then last we are saying is what? After making set and get properties, we are going with plugin. So what is a plugin? So its plugin is nothing but it's like adding some resource or adding some intermediate compound in your program. So plug in. So you are doing some addition there. So what addition can be done? It may be a applet, or it may be something else. If you want to plug in some additionals to your existing thing, then at that time I need to use the plugin action tag, which embeds another components in such as your applet. We have given you an example as some, let's say like as an applet. And last and final is JSP param. So if you are using any parameters for it, right, that parameter value you want to set, then I can use my action tag called JSP colon param, which sets the parameter value. And it is mainly used in what? In this one, right? Include and forward. Because when I want to make your value to be handover, then I can use the method name called JSP include method, because it includes another resource is saying it includes, but whereas JSP forward will take, and it can be included, maybe sometimes it cannot be take or it may be take, but preferably we can take, as this is a type of bean which is going to be taken by your JSP action tags set attribute, what I can say, JSP param, which sets the parameter value, and it is mainly used in your forward as well as your what? Forward and include libraries. And here we had some details about your next topic, that is how we are using your forward action with your parameter value with example program we had. So similarly, include how you are using. We had one more example program. Then JSP bean action tag. I just asking to JSP sir, that is how you are executing your Java bean action tag by including some content, and how you are creating your Java bean object, that we can see it, and how you are getting set property, set action tag, and examples, and what is implicit object, what is implementation object, everything we can just go ahead with my next session. So as of now, I'm going to end the session here only. So up to where we have studied up to your action tags. JSP, under your JSP tag library, I said we can create our own tag libraries with using help of your who is going to help us when you want to create your tag. library directives. So it can take the help of your the third one, which we are using as your what I can say tag libraries or directives, how we are going to use and how we are going to make all the uses by placing it as and how the execution is going on. We'll just made it. So in the next session, we will take these examples, how to set up forward, include, bean, set property and plugin with an example we had that we can cover in my next session. So as of now, just I'm going to end up my session here only. So if you have any doubts, please you can ask. Dear students, if you have any queries, you can post in the chat box. No doubts, directly you are posting your attendance. Fine. Yeah, those who have posted the attendance, just they can leave the session. So two more candidates. I'm going to wind up the session. Please do fast.